On Monday night on AFL 360. Entering his 14th season, Damien Hardwick, welcome.
Evening, gents. How are we?
Second year with the Blues. Michael Voss, hello.
Good to be here, gents.
Longest serving coach in the game. Did you know that, Michael?
No, I did not know that.
Do you care?
Not particularly, but I'm very, very, obviously, clearly an outstanding coach, clearly.
How's that sit with you? Gone quick?
Oh, that's gone quick. Feels like just yesterday I was sitting, in my second year at the Tigers. But look, it's still fun, which is a great thing about it. And I think we're all, just dying to have the footy back. Started to watch a little bit of rugby on the weekend, so it's time to turn the channel and see the AFL, which is great.
So that sense of anticipation, which it feels palpable in the community, I think we're a bit impatient for it now. Maybe we've waited longer than we need to. Are you feeling that restlessness to get at it?
Yeah, I am. I've started to get the tapping of the foot at the dinner table and all those type of things. The anxiety's starting to come back, but I think this year is a little bit like no other. I think every side, you look at every list, has improved and they're coming on the way up, and I think it's just going to be an outstanding season of AFL footy.
How eager for it are you, Michael?
Oh, looking forward to it. As Dimmer just said there, you look across every list and it's improved somewhat, so it challenges you to be a little bit better. But there is certainly a great energy and enthusiasm, particularly opening up round one and with Richmond and Carlton, and expectations around 90,000 people that are in the stadium. So something to really look forward to.
The storylines around Carlton are quite fascinating. It's like everyone's saying, oh, they must finish top four. There's no excuses for Carlton. They must finish top four after what they did last year, and they've improved, etc. Do you...
8 or 4?
Top 4.
Top 4?
Yeah, a lot of people saying Carlton can go on the top 4. We'll go top 8, right? Top 8. It's only another
Just say
win.
first, Boys.
Do you say to the players there's no ceiling? Do you talk about no ceiling in what they can do, or are you a coach who just keeps it to 1 week at a time?
Oh, no, we still talk about our ambition. These guys are pretty hungry and driven, and we made a lot of progress on the back of last year, but we also acknowledge we've got a long way to go. So trying to, navigate our way through that and what we need to be able to get better at, that's the most important thing. But they've got high ambition with what they want to be able to do, and we're clear as a footy club that we want to be sustainably playing finals football. So,
but that doesn't mean... Is high ambition
I don't think that that's something you necessarily can take for granted. There's other clubs that are sitting here that could say exactly the same things with what they're trying to achieve. What we are trying to achieve is put ourselves in the best percentage chance to be able to do something like that. But it's not just about 1 year. It's going to be about the next 2, the next 3, the next 4 years, and how we sustainably play there for the long term. So there's an identity around that. There's the way you want to play around that. There's a program that we need to be able to put in place. So, it's a fairly significant task to be able to try and take on something like that.
The identity last year, I think you won a lot of admirers last year for the solid football that you played. It sort of petered out at the end. Have you improved that? Can you improve an identity? I mean, how do you get better from what you did last year? What's the one thing that you wanted to improve?
Well, the main thing for us last year was our consistency to be able to play our way. Any time we felt that we lost our way was because we just didn't stick to the roles that we were given, and we didn't stick to the system that we've tried to implement. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Some of it's in our infancy, in our first year, where you play your first year, so it's not really as strong as you want it to be, and then constant reinforcement. But what we're about is not necessarily changing anything. What we need to do is make it stronger, and we have to do it under pressure. And we play against these games. Round one, it tests that. It tests all that pressure and the big moments, and can we stick to what we're doing? And that's still going to be the biggest question we need to be able to answer this year.
Physically, I think most people would say the Blues were right in the mix. But you added Akers, and you're playing the young fella, Ollie
Hollands.
Ollie Hollands.
Yeah.
And he's maybe the best runner at Carlton with Sam Walsh. For a young fella, that's fantastic. So, you are adding that extra layer, a different layer.
We're still growing. We're still trying to increase our capacity in all areas. Whether that's running, whether that's contested ball, whether that's playing offence, defence, we are still trying to add capacity into our group. So where that takes us, we don't know, Robbo. So, but what we hope to is we can get better, and we feel like we've made a lot of traction over the pre-season. A lot of clubs have. They'll feel exactly the same way, but I guess when we meet some opposition on the weekend, we'll find out just how much it's stuck.
Tell us about Lockie Cowan.
They're two good.
They're two debutants.
Yeah, no, there's really calm, really collected. Nothing seems to faze him too much. So yeah, he'll handle it really well. It's amazing to sort of throw two kids out there and just how do they handle it. I don't think we're going in hoping. We look at we've got a fair body of work that we've seen since December when they've come on board, and they've slowly been able to adapt our way, and you know they'll grow within the roles that they've been given. But no, it's two exciting additions for sure.
How far out did you think? Okay, these two lads are probably going to be there.
Probably the last couple of weeks. They certainly showed a lot of signs. You know, I guess in modern training environments, you get a lot of match simulation, you get a lot of game-like drills, so you can start to assess where they're picking up on some things and how quick they're doing it. But certainly when you start putting it against AFL opposition, you start measuring them like for like. I mean, we've played against two quality opponents. We've played against Collingwood and we've played against Sydney, so they're playing against some, you know, top quality opposition. So you get to measure them against that, and they've measured up pretty well.
Your additions are pretty well declared at the moment in Taranto and Hopper. Just same sort of thing. In the overall, what phase is this for Richmond in your eyes, Damien?
With regard to
the overall challenge, the reload?
Yeah, well, it's probably a little bit... What we've been very good at is three phases of the game. We've been pretty good at two. You know, the turnover game and offensively as well. But what we've probably struggled in a little bit is the clearance aspect and the ability to stop scoring from those. So, look, over the course of the summer, we addressed that, brought in two ready-made players, obviously good stoppage players, good clearance players that allow the game to be played a different way. We don't want to negate the strengths that we've already got, but we feel by adding these two boys, they're going to help us in an area that we traditionally haven't been strong. So if we can get that part of our game up and going, it's going to make my job a hell of a lot easier and the way we play a little bit different as well.
People are already lining up Trent Cotchin. He's been a warrior for you, your captain.
Yeah. What are they lining him up for?
Too old, too slow, can't kick goals, can't play forward.
Hey?
Can't play forward.
Yeah,
where do you aim to sort of generally play?
Wherever I need him. That's the thing.
So where do you need him Monday?
He'll play some midfield. He'll also play some forward. The thing about Trent, what he does, he's a great contested ball player. But what he's got incredible craft up forward. Funnily enough, as well. Like he played this role that we played in a couple of the practice matches about the last 6 or 7 weeks last year, and he did that very, very well. If you go back and look at the tape, he set up a lot of goals. He kicked a couple of goals as well. So we're really confident in what he can do. We also know when push comes to shove, we're going to need him at the coalface.
He'll be pushing and shoving.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's a quality player, and people always quickly jump on the champs. I reckon they've gone one season.
Does it annoy you, or you wouldn't care, would you?
I don't think we really care. Like, end of the day, we pick him to play and we think he can play. You know, it's the same. You know, various older statesmen around the competition, they're quick to jump on because it's an easy story to write for mine. But the reality is we know the value of these players and what they bring to our footy club, both on field and off, and it can't be measured just on game impact.
I think the other thing is too for the champs, and you know, is that they get measured from a platform that when they're in their prime, you know, they're measured at this level that unfortunately we keep looking at it the same way. But you evolve within yourself as a player. You know, when you're in your prime towards you in your back end, it can be something quite different. That doesn't mean it's not valuable. That doesn't mean you can't have impact. So, you know, like the champs, you're right. It might be a slightly different version, but it'll still be a pretty good version. It'll still keep us well and truly aware about where he is on the field at any moment.
I think you'll be aware of another player they got going for him. I think they call him a champ. Dustin Martin, I think, is one of the most intriguing players in the competition this year. His season last year was OK. If anyone else did it last year on those games, everyone say, geez, he's a promising young player.
Yeah.
But because it's Dusty from the height he was, people think, where is he? We know the mental challenge he had last year. What have you... I know you've spoken about it a couple of times. As the games getting closer, what are you detecting?
Well, he's training well, which is always the first and foremost. He had a great pre-season also. So his role will be a little bit different this year, the way we use him. Obviously, with bringing in a couple of, you know, full-time mids, he will probably get some midfield time without being predominantly mid, if that makes sense. So, you know, what we're sort of hoping for that, you know, if Dustin Martin's forward of centre, he's going to kick a fair few goals, we would hope. So the way we use him is probably similar to how, you know, Melbourne used Petrarca, De Goey. Cripps is a little bit in the same boat, the way he goes about it. So it's going to be a challenge for the opposition, but we certainly know that if Dustin's playing our best footy, both our footy club, but more importantly, the AFL in general, are really, really happy.
When you return, you've had him for a long time, do you actually sit down and talk to him? Don't about footy. Talk to him about life, where he is and what happened last year, has he dealt with it? You know, I'm sure he's spoken to a lot of people. Can you allow us a little bit into those sort of one-on-one meetings you had with him?
Yeah, there's bits and pieces, but there's also... there's coaching, but then there's also people outside his network, outside the network of the football department that he works with as well. And that's not dissimilar to most players. You know, the mental aspect of the game is incredibly challenging now, and our players, you know, whether it's Richmond or Carlton, are always in the art of performing better. And so whether that's a sports psych, whether it's a third party, whatever that is, players will delve into that part delve into that part of their performance to make sure they can get better. So we'll have conversations where they need be, but the fact of the matter is, generally players have got a fair idea of what they need at various stages, and they'll reach out for that.
Did you delve into Dustin, because you're the coach and he's the player?
Robbo, like any player, we have conversations that certainly need to be talked about, you know, but that's the same with everyone.
Did you get great comfort?
I did. I get great
about?
comfort with all my players, Robbo.
Geez, you're really general.
Oh, come on. Move on.
Mate. He's Dustin Martin,
We've been through this last year. Let's just look forward to what he's going to produce on the field.
I'm looking forward.
Stop going in the past. Move forward.
No, we've only got the past at the moment, Dimmer. We haven't started yet, mate.
Worries.
We haven't started. Oh, you've started early this year.
Started early with you, I'll tell you what.
Oh, my God.